Hi, John Morgan here, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live, our weekly show right here on the internet. And well, before we get started, I first wanted to let you know that, of course, you can give us a follow over on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and also on TikTok at Bob's Market. And of course, every week we're live here on Facebook and on YouTube Tuesdays at 5 p.m. So this week, what I want to do is kind of take a step back and look at a previous project that I've been working on kind of over the last couple of years, and that is the Meadow Garden. So, recently, I noticed some invasive plants popping up in an area where I had planted wildflowers this last year. So I need to go in and take care of that. But also, I wanted to kind of give you an update and a look at how it's doing, because the last time we saw the flowers was when I was sowing them back in, I think it was late May or early June. And well, we'll take a look at those. And Shirley says hi. Hi, Shirley. um, so let's head out to the Meadow Garden and take a look at what I'm talking about. I thought I would do a quick update on my meadow garden, and more specifically this new area of wildflowers that I added this spring. Today when I was mowing, I noticed some invasive plants growing in here. So after I finished up, I grabbed my brush hook and came out and cut them back. And what I noticed was pokeberry, which it's a plant that most of you that live in this area have probably seen. It gets kind of tall, has these purple berries on it that stain everything. And more importantly, in a bed like this, they'll grow up and choke out the other plants. So by simply cutting them back, that allows the other plants to grow in over top of them and prevent them from growing. So it's a really simple process. They're really easy to cut, especially when they're young. So if you're growing an area like this, you have to keep an eye out for invasive species and kind of work to keep them at bay. Other than that, the bed is really starting to look good. These kind of white blooms that you see are buckwheat that I mixed in with the seed, and it performs beautifully as always. It really is kind of an underrated ornamental plant. Most people grow it for the grain. In fact, that's how I got the seed, was to grow as a grain. But it is just gorgeous on its own, and it'll actually reseed. And here in the front, I planted some annual varieties that I know won't come back, but I'm going to collect the seeds from them. So I've got some zinnias here. And then over on the far side, they're just now starting to bloom, I have some cosmos. But you can see that the bed is really starting to fill in nicely. That area is where I had the pokeberries. But yeah, it is really looking beautiful. So here's a good example of a pokeberry, and what I can do is take my knife here and just kind of follow down along the edge of it, and then down here at the bottom of the plant, just give it a chop. There we go, and cut it right off. So that's a quick update of what's going on out in my meadow garden. And yeah, pokeberry, I guess it's not really an invasive because it is native to the Americas, but it's one of those sort of undesirable plants in a meadow garden. Um, so I do need to go in and control it. Ironically, if you're into natural plant dyes and dyeing fabrics, pokeberry can be used as a natural dye. So some people actually do grow it for that. But for me, I don't want it in my meadow. Um, but as I kind of said in the video, I expanded the area where I have wildflowers growing this year. Last year I did a really small area kind of as a test. Then this year I expanded on it a little bit more. And next year I want to expand it even more. So to do that, of course, I'm going to be buying more seed. But also I'm going to be going in and collecting seed. So that's a video that we'll be looking at in the future, is how to collect seeds. So things like the zinnias and cosmos, they're not perennials in this area. So if I don't collect the seed and save them, the seed will get killed whenever we get a killing freeze. So I can collect those seeds and save them and resow them next year. Maybe mix them in with some other seeds that I've purchased and kind of resow that area. I do want to expand that area, and one of the ways I'm doing that, I can't really show it right now because I haven't got my license for commercial drone photography. But one of the ways that I'm kind of planning my landscape is through aerial photography. So I'm taking my drone up and taking pictures and then using that to plan that area. So by doing that, and then also these small little gradual experiments, I'm starting to work out a plan for the meadow garden. So it's been an interesting process over the last couple years, and this year I've got a lot of ideas that I want to try to implement in the coming year. So it's going to be fun to follow along with that. Up next, I wanted to head out to the greenhouse. We haven't done that for a while. Went out to Columbus to cultivate, and the last couple episodes of Bob's Live, we've been looking at different things that I wanted to feature from Cultivate, and we haven't really been out to the greenhouse. Of course, this time of year, there's not a lot going on out in the greenhouse because we're kind of in that transition between spring and fall. So right now our seedling production is ramping up for fall pansies, and we also have fall mums and also poinsettias out in the greenhouse. So I thought we would take a look at our poinsettia crop because right now it's right at the size where it's ready to be transplanted. So let's head out to the greenhouse. Merry Christmas! Today I'm down here at our field house greenhouse where we're growing poinsettias for Christmas. So these poinsettias, they're actually about a month old at this point. So back at the beginning of July, we started getting poinsettias in as little cuttings. And now they're just about at the size where we can start transplanting them. So it takes from July all the way up through November for us to get finished poinsettias that you'll see at our stores. And the last thing that I want to take a look at this week is, of course, an event that we have going on all the month of August, and that is our virtual fair. So, all during the month of August, we're having a virtual fair on our website. And if you enter something, you've got a pretty good chance of winning a ribbon. So, this week we are doing a photography contest. And your photo submissions, they need to be in by this Thursday. And you can email those to that's ask, at bobsmarket.com. So over on our website, if you head over to bobsmarket.com, we've got a page for the virtual fair. So let me jump back to the home page so you can see how to get to it. But if you go to bobsmarket.com, right here at the very top of our homepage, so right here, we've got a link to the virtual fair. And also, right below it, we've got our link for Bob's Live. But if you head over to the virtual fair page, it has all of the different categories for the contest. So we've divided up into 4 weeks. And this first week is photography. So the photos are due this Thursday, and I've divided it up into a few different divisions. So we've got garden and plants, sunrise, sunset, and weather. So sort of a broad spectrum there. I would also categorize like landscape photography. Not garden landscape, but wider, shots. Wildlife, portrait, abstract, and then kind of just a catch-all other variety. So if you have a photo that you want to share that doesn't fit into one of those divisions, you can file it under other. So when it comes to submitting your entry, up here we have the format for the email. And the main thing is to put Virtual Fair 2021 in the subject line, because all of these emails come into my inbox along with all of my other email. So what I did is I created a rule to separate out anything with Virtual Fair 2021 into a separate folder. And that way it makes it easier for me to find the entries. But anyhow, you send it to ask@bobsmarket.com. You want to include your name, age, mailing address, so that way if you win a ribbon, I can send out your certificate and your ribbon. And then the phone number, the category, and division. So in the case of this week, it would be photography. And then that's the category. And then the divisions would be one of these things. And then you need to put in a description too. So I'll use that mainly for the for those that place with a ribbon. I'll include all of the photos in kind of a gallery. But each one of the winners I'll feature separately, and I'll add that description in. And also, I don't want to click it on here because I don't have an email program set up on this computer. But if you're on a phone or if you're on a computer where you have something like Outlook set up, you can actually click this button and it'll generate a ready-made email for you. Hopefully. So it works depending on how your device is set up. If not, you can simply select this and then paste it into an email. But that's the easiest way for me to handle entries and sorting them and all of that. And then also we've got down here at the bottom, we've got the rules. So the photos, the they'll be divided up by age. So we've got junior, that's age 18 and younger, and then adult is 19 and older. Photos should be submitted by noon on the due date, so hopefully by noon on Thursday. That helps me start sort of pre-sorting stuff. And then anyone in the US is eligible to enter. Blah, blah, blah. You can read that. So the other categories or other, the other categories in the upcoming weeks is next week we're going to have home canning. So if you've canned something over the last year that you really want to share, send me a photo of it and a description of it. And we've got fruits and pie fillings, jams and jellies, meats, pickles, and vegetables. And then the week after we have home arts. So painting, pottery, sculpting, woodworking, textiles, like if you quilt or something like that and you want to share that, that will be that week. And then the last week is livestock. So if your kid is in 4-H and you've got, that great picture, be sure to send it to us and we'll feature it on our website and they might win a ribbon. So be sure to send in those entries also. So that is all the month of August that we're doing our virtual fair. And, I am starting to ramble, but again, head over to bobsmarket.com and there's a link right there at the top to Virtual Fair 2021. Or the address, if you want to go directly to it, is bobsmarket.com/virtual-fair. So you can do that also. And that is all that I have for this week's episode of Bob's Live. And until next time, keep growing.